Hey, mamas. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Mama Work It podcast. So glad you're here. If you are new to Mama Work It, we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. I am your host, Marissa Lonick, working mama of four and founder of Mama Work It. Today, we have a very special guest, as always. Her name is Ashley Wall. She is an award-winning author, educator, and mom of two who turned her family's love of story time into a thriving children's publishing company, MamaBear Books. After more than a decade in the classroom, Ashley combined her background in education with her passion for creativity to launch her best-selling picture book series, The Day I Had, a collection that encourages kids to dream big, build confidence, and see the world through the power of imagination. I love that so much. What started as just a single idea while on a day out with her daughter has grown into a movement to raise readers and empower families. Ashley often shares how entrepreneurship has not only shaped her own mindset, but also transformed her children's, inspiring them to start small businesses, dream boldly, and embrace perseverance. Through speaking, author visits, and social media storytelling, she models what it means to pursue purpose while balancing motherhood, marriage, and meaningful work. I cannot wait to dive into this conversation. Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. I love what you're doing. I love your podcast. So I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you here. So, first and foremost, you were a teacher. Now you're a children's book author. Give us a little bit more about the details of how that journey happened and how you landed where you are.
Yeah, so I was a middle school math teacher. I've always been really good at math, but always really loved reading. And was a math teacher. And once I got married and started having kids, I was a stay-at-home mom. I knew I had to stay at home for a little while with them, and just having that background as an educator and loving books so much, I knew I needed to read to them from the beginning. I mean, from bringing them home from the hospital, we read before naps, before bedtime, and everything. So we just consumed so many books, and my kids ended up being loving books and being little readers themselves. So we'll read for hours. I mean, and so we've just consumed thousands of children's books, and I kept getting inspired. I want to write a children's book. Things I love this about a book, or I don't love this about a book. And I just kept getting all these ideas, but they were in the back of my mind for so long. And then after a few years, I knew I wanted to get back into the working world. I just didn't know exactly what that would look like. I prayed a lot about it. And that idea to write a book just kind of went from the back of my mind to the front of my mind. And then, yeah, after I went out with my daughter, we went to the ice cream museum, and and I came home, and I told my husband, I was like, I really wanted to write a children's book like this. I've got these ideas, and I really want to create something. And he was the one who was like, great, we'll start a business, and you have a mission and big goals and dreams. And so we'll do it all ourselves. And so, yeah, so we created Mama Bear Books, and started learning and writing, and we didn't look back.
I love that. So you had this magical idea and then you even turned it into a business model, not just like you were out there pitching your book to publishers. Cause I know that process can be quite arduous. I have a lot of author friends who have talked to me about it. I have independently published, so I know what that process is like, but I love that you turned it into a publishing house. And that's also something that you're doing alongside writing, authoring your own books.
Yeah, and I didn't. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit traditional public, trying to go that route, but I really wanted to create it myself. I wanted to build a business. My husband is really business focused, and so he helps with that, building the company. But we really wanted. I had these ideas and this kind of big movement that I wanted from the books, and so we just kind of said we're going to do it ourselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you started this business when your kids were how old?
Oh, my son was 2, and my daughter was around 3, 3.5 maybe.
Okay, so how did that impact motherhood, raising kids that age? Like, what did that do for your family life?
It It's been all over the place, and it started. I would work on it when my son would take a nap. My daughter was in preschool. I'd work on it in the evenings, but then it started to consume more time. My son got a little older and went to preschool, so I would work on it during the day. And at the time, we're like, "Oh, this is great. We'll build this big company, and it can leave a legacy, and the kids could, all the things you dream of. The kids could take over one day, and it'll be so great." But what I didn't think about was how it was going to impact them, like right now. And I've included them the whole time. I'm doing children's books, so it's things that they relate to. But I always encourage people, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're pursuing, include your kids, because even the business side of it, they ask questions about it. So that has been really fun to be able to include them. They come with us sometimes on markets and different events, and they'll help us set up. And they've started their own little business. They make bracelets and bookmarks. And so they sell it now at markets. My daughter said, I was talking to my husband one day and I said something and she's like, but you're still going to be the leader, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. Like I didn't even realize she was picking up on leadership from watching what we were doing and including her in what we were doing. And, she'll hear conversations where, we got rejected or we didn't hear back from somebody and we keep going. And so they're learning the day to day, perseverance and resilience and entrepreneurship and self-confidence and I just didn't think of all of that. And so that's been really fun that it has been a family thing. But I will say at the very beginning, I kind of got wrapped into it and consumed where it was kind of taking up all of my mind and my time. And the kids were kind of getting not like pushed aside, but I would be like, hang on a second, I need to do this. Hang on a second. And then I started to be like, wait a minute, they're going to resent this. They're going to resent the business. Oh the books take all of mommy's time. So I really had to focus. Okay, kid time is kid time. When they're in school or they're asleep, I can do my thing. But if they're here, it's all off unless we're doing it together. And it has totally transformed and been so much fun for them, so much fun for us. And like I said, they have learned and grown in ways that I did not even imagine. And so now it's something that they're so proud of and that they're involved in. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to hear more about this integration, like this inclusion of the kids, because I've been a working mom my whole life and well, I haven't been a mom my whole life, but since I've entered motherhood, I've been a working mom. And I've always found that for me personally, I need to compartmentalize these things, sort of like you're saying in a way about like when I'm with the kids, I'm with the kids, right? And when I'm working, but like you're integrating this somehow. And for me, like that's always been a tricky way to do it. Like I've always tried to separate them in a way because I want my full attention on the task at hand. And those two
Yeah.
things are such important parts of my life, right? Talk to me about what that inclusion looks like in your home.
Yeah. And you're totally right. And it is separate, but also inclusive at the same time, because like in the mornings, there's like no phone. We're doing breakfast together. We're getting ready for the schools together. There's no, business. And then when I pick them up, I don't want to be on my phone. I put it all aside. So there is that kind of separation where during the day I am focused. But you're right. It's like they both take up so much focus. And I don't know about you, but if I'm like focused on my computer or on my phone and they're like, mommy, look at this. It's like I'm irritable all of a sudden. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not
Yes.
fair. Right? Like that's not fair to them. I shouldn't be on. So that's where I had to like take a look and figure it out to balance it. So I do separate it. But things like, for example, we had the Texas Book Festival this weekend. And on Friday, instead of getting a babysitter to watch them while we went and set up, we brought them with us. So they helped take things from the car. They helped set up. They helped, design the space. And then we went to dinner and they talked about it and they asked how it was. So it's things like that where we bring them in. I read my stories to them. I'll get their ideas, and just talking about it instead of trying to like shield them from. So it's not necessarily like they're working right next to me, except for those like in-person events that we bring them along with. But just talking about it and letting them, hear the ups and the downs so that they know like, hey, I'm still learning and I'm still growing, but just involving them in the conversation. My daughter also, she had a play date and her friend was over the other day and the little girl was asking me like, oh, you sell your books. What do you do? Hey, you have the money when you sell it. And Avery goes, yeah, but she puts it back in the business so the business will keep growing. And I'm like, wow. So it's things like that like just by having conversations around them and including them in conversations, they're learning that stuff. So a lot of it is just not not like shielding conversations from them. Like we don't talk about all of it, but there are moments when they're hearing it and they ask questions and we answer their questions and we involve them in those kind of topics and they're seeing us go out there and do it. So that's kind of the way I have my own space for it, but also include them in different parts of it.
Okay. This makes so much sense. All right. So it doesn't hurt that they are also your target market
Yes, it's
in
very
your
helpful.
particular business, in your particular business. But what I'm hearing is similar to how we ask our kids how their day was and we want to hear all about the school day. We're reciprocating that and kind of how the workday was, what challenges we're facing at work, who we talked to at work that day, what decisions we're making, right? So we're reciprocating those conversations. So we're learning about their day at school or wherever, whatever they're doing, activities, but we're also indirectly kind of teaching them about business or our careers or the fields we're
Yeah.
in by just simply having those conversations.
Yeah, exactly. I think like for me, the book part is in their wheelhouse, right? But the business part isn't, but they're learning about that. So I really think that it could transcend over any career because we all have days we struggle and kids have days they struggle. We have days where things are going great. And so for them to just kind of hear that, and again, like we're not talking like the nitty gritty of it or every little aspect of it. So depending on what your career is, but there are things in our days and in our career that our kids need to hear. And then they can see that firsthand, like, oh, well, mommy or daddy had a struggle and they kept going, or mommy and daddy, got told no, but they didn't give up. Um, so I think that goes for any parent child conversation in whatever career, whatever it is you're doing throughout the day.
Okay, so tell me, what does a typical day look like for you? Building this business, raising your kids, you're a very present parent, clearly, but you're also like really full force in growing this publishing company, writing your books. I mean, you've got tons of them already. I see them behind you. Tell me what this momentum, this typical day looks like.
Yeah, so I usually get up before my kids because I like to have some quiet, some peace. I do my devotional in the morning. Get up, we do breakfast. To me, it's really important to do breakfast together. We all sit down and we have breakfast. It kind of just binds us in the morning, and we have to wake up a little earlier for that, but it's a really important thing for me before they go off to school. Take them off to school. I'll either go on I love going on a walk outside. It really clears my mind. I get a lot of ideas when I'm doing that. Or I'll go to the gym because I one thing also that I did when I was first building the business, and I was like, I can't go to the gym. I can't work out. I've got to, work, work, work. And then it's like you burn yourself out. And I'm like, so I've had to really make sure I value sleep. I value my health. I value working out. So I make sure I go do that. And then I come home and then it is just focused attention. I'm not answering the phone to my mom. I call her on the way to get the kids. And, so it is just focused work, whether it means I am doing, a podcast or media outreach. Sometimes I do school visits or I'm writing, but it is working. And then I go get the kids. We have our intentional time. We got activities and we come home. We always have dinner together. We do books. We read a lot of books in the evening and then bedtime. And before I was also kind of working through the night, or like late into the evening, but that kind of mentally drained me as well. So I'll respond to a few emails after they go to bed, but then I kind of just decompress and read my own books. I'll do an entrepreneurial book or a book for fun. Or some sort of motivational book, but that's kind of my time to decompress. And then I go to bed early. So like 9:15, 9:30, it's lights out for me. So that's kind of my day.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay, okay, love it. And I know this concept of practicing presence with your kids is super important to you. Like even when they are quote unquote occupied during an
Mhm.
activity, you are present, right? So talk to me about what that looks like. Like even when you're at gymnastics or you're at soccer, you're not trying to multitask working during that time. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, and that is something that in the beginning I kind of did. I would be like, "Oh, I can bring my computer and work." And then I was like, "Wait a minute. They want and they're like, "Mommy, look at this. Did you see this?" And they look up to us and they're like, they want us to see that moment. And so I was like, "Okay, you know what? This is not a working moment. This is they want me to see it. They've been at school all day. I haven't been there. Now they want to show me what they can do. And that's building their confidence. And so that way I can be like, "Oh, wow. You last week you couldn't, do that cartwheel and now you did. Or last week the ball, my son is in T-ball. Last week the ball only went to home plate. Now it went all the way to second base. So I can I can give them that direct feedback so they can see, oh, I'm growing. I got better from this week to last week. Oh, I got better from this week to last week. So they can understand that, even though they're maybe not the best or they see somebody who's better, they are too getting better. And so I'm able to give them that like specific praise and that eye contact when they turn around. Like I'm not on my phone, I am watching them. And I've seen, since I've, done that, I've seen other parents who are, and the kids are just like, mommy, 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 mommy. And the parents are on their phone. And I know sometimes as parents, we're busy and we have to have that time to finish up some work. And so it's not, I don't want mom guilt or dad guilt or anything like that. But I just really try to make it like that's a non negotiable because they want that attention and they want it from us in that moment. And so I do feel like for the most part, like the rest can wait and give them that hour, of T-ball practice or that hour of gymnastics and respond to the emails later. Like we got to align our priorities and our kids want our attention. There's so many things pulling at everybody's attention, their attention. And if we're trying to tell them, read a book or go outside and play instead of use a screen or do this, but then we're always on our screen, if we want them to be present, we have to be present too.
Yeah, such good advice. Absolutely. All right. Last question for you before we move on to our lightning round here. What advice would you give to a mom who is really struggling in her journey of pursuing her career goals, whether those are entrepreneurial or, employed with someone else while raising kids? So a lot of ambitious women listen to this show.
Mhm.
You're ambitious. I'm ambitious. It can be a struggle sometimes
Yeah.
to really honor that, but also honor the ambition of being a really present, focused mom at the same time. So tell me your best advice for that.
It is a struggle. And there's such a balance because even my husband the other day was like, you don't have to do it all right now, but we feel like we do. I'm like, I want to get a YouTube channel started. I want to get my website started. I want to get consultations. And he's like, all of those things you're talking about, they're like full time on, like take a breath. And I kind of had to do that, like I mentioned, where I was all in and then my kids were getting, second place instead of family first and then health. And so I think that I've had to realize like it will all get done, but it doesn't have to get done right this second. And yes, maybe somebody else will get there faster because they're doing 15 hours a day and their kids are in front of the screen so they can work. And again, no mom or parent guilt. You have to do what you have to do. But for me, it was like maybe I'll go a little bit slower. And instead of launching this next project this month, it will be next month because I'm only working these hours to these hours and I'm going to be present with my kids. And so I think it's just, and then being really intentional with our time too. Like when I sit down, it's like focus. I've started making kind of little sticky notes for Monday. I'm going to do these tasks. Tuesday, I'm doing these tasks. Wednesday, I'm doing these tasks. And I can mark it off, mark it off. So I'm not just like lollygagging on my computer, doing things that aren't moving the needle. So really being intentional with your list, being intentional with your time, and then giving yourself a little bit of grace, not saying, okay, kick your feet up and don't get your goals and your stuff done, but just prioritize and make your time just super efficient.
Yes. So good. So good. That's how I built my business. I mean, a little bit at a time, right? I was
Yeah,
juggling corporate mom, working life and building Mama Work It. And I mean, you have to set really reasonable expectations. You have to consistently show up. You have to be organized and intentional. And I
yeah,
mean, I think that's really the recipe for success. So awesome.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, good. All right. We're going to move on to our lightning round. This is where we're
Okay,
just going to ask you some random, fun, personal questions just so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
perfect.
Okay. Well, this is my number one question, obviously. Like, what book are you reading right now?
So I'm got a few. I always have several. Um, I'm listening to Crush It. Yeah, it's either Crush It or Crushing It because he had a first one now. He has a second one, but I'm listening to an Audible and it's super encouraging, a motivating book about like just business and like going after your goals and your dreams. So it's so far it's really good. I just started I think it's called The Remarkable Creatures. It's like about an octopus and a woman. I don't know. My friend recommended it. She said it was really great. And then I also have Brand Story, which I'm reading, which is kind of about how to like market and brand yourself and your company. So those are the three I've got going right now.
Love it. Okay. Good. Good. If you could go on vacation tomorrow anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh, probably Bora Bora. We went there on my honeymoon, and it has been my most favorite place we've ever been. And right now, it just got cold here, so I'm like somewhere warm. But it's
Yes,
just so
totally.
beautiful, and it's just stunning.
Would you say you're more of an introvert or extrovert?
Kind of a combo. I'm an introvert, but if you get me out of the house and around people, I will be an extrovert, and I will mingle and be social and friendly. But I am more of I want to read and a little shy. I was always shy growing up. So kind of a combo, but I would say maybe 55% introvert, 45% extrovert.
Yeah, yeah, okay. What if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? What would it be? Calories don't count.
Queso. Queso for sure. I have growing up in Texas, I rate a restaurant by their queso.
Love it. All right, last question. What is your go-to like get it done motivating song?
Oh, I don't know if I have like a specific song, but Forrest Frank is like my new jam. I had him on. I was like, I gotta speed clean the house before the kids get home, and I put him on, and I was literally like dancing. Like if my husband comes out of his office right now, I was just like jam into it. So Forrest Frank, it's like you get some Jesus in your soul, and you also get like hyped up at the same time.
Yes, I love Forest Break and my kids do too. And
Yeah,
yeah, we like it too. I've been trying this new thing in the mornings. We have like an Alexa in my kids' room and I'll say, "Alexa, play Forest Frank Good Day." And
yes,
then that's how they wake up.
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. All
Anytime
right,
my
well,
kids start
before
fighting,
yeah.
I would say anytime my kids start like arguing, I was like, "Oh, we're putting on good day, guys. We're putting on good day." So they're like, "Okay, we'll stop."
It's a fix it song for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
All right. Well, tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can learn more about your books, where they can get them, and we will wrap up.
Yeah. So we have our website, all our books are on there. It's mamabearbooks.com. We're also on Amazon, Target, barnesandnoble.com. And I'm really big on social media. I love connecting with people. So author Ashley Wall is my Instagram and Facebook, um, and TikTok. I got to get better at my TikTok, but we're up there.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.